Hey, welcome to Digging into the Bible. My name is Jim Barnard. This is a production of Tiller Coaching. All right, well, it's day 15, and yesterday we saw how the apostles stood up in front of the high priest and in front of the council. They stood up for, they stood up to, and they stood up with. And it was so good, so beautiful, so bold. Today we see the resolution of this interaction between them, and it is also very beautiful. It's very similar with the standing up. So with that as the backdrop, let's go ahead and dig in. This is Acts chapter 5, starting at verse 33. When they heard this, they were enraged and wanted to kill them. But a Pharisee in the council named Gamaliel, a teacher of the law held in honor by all the people, stood up and gave orders to put the men outside for a little while. And he said to them, "Men of Israel, take care what you are about to do with these men. For before these days Theudas rose up claiming to be somebody, and a number of men, about 400, joined him. He was killed, and all who followed him were dispersed and came to nothing. After him, Judas the Galilean rose up in the days of the census and drew away some of the people after him. He too perished, and all who followed him were scattered. So in the present case, I tell you, keep away from these men and let them alone. For if this plan or this undertaking is of man, it will fail. But if it is of God, you will not be able to overthrow them. You might even be found opposing God." So they took his advice, and when they had called in the apostles, they beat them and charged them not to speak in the name of Jesus, and let them go. Then they left the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer dishonor for the name. And every day in the temple and from house to house, they did not cease teaching and preaching that the Christ is Jesus. All right, so this Pharisee, this man, Gamaliel, I might have the pronunciation of his name wrong, but I'm going with it because it reminds me of another word. So I don't speak Arabic, not remotely, but I have a friend who's from Egypt, and he's such a good man, and we would sing him happy birthday every year. And we would sing the American or English happy birthday, and then we would sing the Arabic version. And I never knew any of the words except for one word, Yagamil. This word Yagamil supposedly means beautiful. It might mean like circus peanuts, and he was just lying to me, but let's go with this because this is beautiful. This man, Gamaliel, he does something very bold and very beautiful, to stand up. It literally says this in verse 34. He stood up and gave orders to put the men outside for a little while. And then he shares about these two other false teachers who rose up. So there's a difference here, standing up and rising up. So Theudas rose up, and then Judas the Galilean rose up. Now, I don't know if you caught it. Yesterday we saw both of these words being used in it. It seemed very similar, very appropriate. And so let's check that out really quick. In verse 20, the angel of the Lord tells the apostles to go and stand in the temple and speak to the people all the words of this life. And that's what they do. But a few verses earlier, we see this word rise or rose. This is verse 17. But the high priest rose up, and all who were with him, that is, the party of the Sadducees, and filled with jealousy, they arrested the apostles and put them in the public prison. There is clearly a difference between standing up and rising up. Standing up is bold and it's beautiful. Rising up, it's something different. It's something a little less strong. It says that he rose up filled with jealousy. Like that's not standing up. There's a big difference here. And so, Gamaliel, with this boldness, it's so beautiful, he says, hey, these false teachers who rose up, they flamed out. That's what happens when you just simply rise up. You flame out, and these men might not be false teachers. They might be truth teachers, and if they are, we're going to be found opposing God. I can't believe a Pharisee. We were crushing the Pharisees in season 1 in the book of Matthew. But this Pharisee stands up with true wisdom. The outcome here is that the apostles are let go, and they are they're beaten and they're warned not to teach in the name of Jesus. But that's obviously not going to stop them. Did you see what happened in verse 41? Then they left the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer dishonor for the name of Jesus. They rejoiced. They were counted worthy to suffer dishonor for Jesus. That honestly is the most beautiful thing, and it seems like nothing's going to get them to stop standing up for something that is so good, so beautiful, with such boldness. And so I just want to ask you, are you sitting, are you rising, or are you standing up for what you know to be true? All right, that's all the time I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I will see you tomorrow as we start Acts chapter 6. I'll see you then.